All right, here we go. Okay, it's 11 o'clock. I'm going to call the meeting to order. If you got a cell phone, please mute it or turn it off so it doesn't interrupt us. Becky, would you do a roll call for us, please?
Sure will. Bob Olson.
Here.
Tom Kitson. Jack Scrogstead. We've got Dean
Here.
Krill for Jack Scrogstead. Mike Copine.
Here.
Mike Zeman.
Here.
Jim Sheeline.
Here.
Tom Wilson.
Thank you. Anybody want to talk to us? Paul? Alice? Nancy? Dean? Nancy?
Nope.
All right. All right. I got a couple announcements. First of all, I want to thank Mr. Kitson for being my vice chair and the rest of you guys on executive for all your help and what we did the last 2 years. So we reorganized the next meeting. So this is our last meeting for the group here. So thank you for everything. And we'll probably go have some lunch afterwards.
Sounds good.
Jeremy's
Thank you
buying-
for being a great chairman. We appreciate what you've done to lead us.
Jeremy wanted to buy us lunch today, so I thought we'd accommodate him with that.
Let him do that. Sure, I think that's good.
You're welcome. All right. And then speaking of Jeremy, I want to acknowledge this is his 1 year anniversary. He's done an awesome job. So I just want to thank you, Jeremy, for everything you've done for us. Along with that, I think I'm going to send out a survey because we're going to do a review process with him. So I'll send you the survey and we'll get some feedback for him. Right. All right. Maybe after lunch today, we'll send that survey out. So.
The survey depends on what your lunch is going to be.
All right, then I got a reminder, the truth and taxation meeting, it's prior to the board meeting. I think it's, it shows here. That's wrong, yes. It should be.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'm reading it wrong then. Yes, you're right. It is 5:30 prior to the November board meeting. So I just want to remind everybody we need to have a quorum there. So we'll be there for that. And I've got hearing officer discussion. Is that anywhere anywhere? Okay, so it's just discussion. I had Alice come in to us and talk to us. I had a ZBA member resign the other night, so I got to replace somebody and we're talking about going to a hearing in his office. Mike Pratt. I haven't got his resignation yet, but sounds like he wanted to resign, correct? So we talked about going the hearing officer route. I just want to know if there's any concerns or comments or whatever we got. Alice has done some legwork on it. She's talked to other counties. Alice, you want to explain to you what you learned this morning, how Whiteside's doing it, or
Sure.
our process, what we got to go through to follow through?
So Whiteside went to a hearing officer and they eliminated the ZBA. Essentially, that person comes down, they conduct the hearing, they do their report, and they submit their report to the board. Whiteside County has worked with them, has kind of, once they hired somebody, they allowed them to create their own rules for the structure of the meeting in accordance with the county. They do have an attorney out of Waukegan currently that is their hearing officer. And they charge, she receives $750 a night. That includes her drive time, her preparation, her travel expense, and any time she spends on repairing her report to the board. Currently, our zoning board gets $80 per meeting plus mileage. That comes out to about $478. We also pay for a transcriber, and to have IT here, there is some overtime with that. So our fees come in about $750, and that is what we are currently charging at this time for a normal zoning petition hearing. Wind and solar, they have to pay a $25,000 deposit. So it's a little bit different.
But some nights you'll have more than one petitioner as well.
Correct.
So we just gotta make sure that fee is high enough. Paul pulled up some numbers, the treasurer, for us. In 21, we spent $12,417 for the ZBA. And then 22 was 10,000, 23 is 8,600, and year to date we're at 5,400, but I don't know if we got everything in there. There was a couple of meetings, months we didn't have meetings either. So I think it'll be a wash monetarily wise. It'll be budget friendly, I would think, if we followed through with this. What do you think from finance? I I guess the reason I'm brought up for discussion is any concerns, any comments that we don't want to go this direction, we need to let us know because that's the direction we're going.
I'm all for going the hearing officer route. Especially as the complexity and we get into codes and whatnot, to ask a citizen to spend the time. I mean, I commend everybody from, I think of Bruce Forrester. Bruce has been on the ZBA, I think, since before I was born, and chairman for almost as long. Bruce has given his life to a lot of the development and a lot of controversial things that have happened in the county over that period of time. Mike Pratt has done yeoman's work and everything he's done. We've had a group of wonderful people to do that work, but it's almost getting to be impossible to find those folks that's willing to do that. Now, the one question that I had is as far as process, because I did a little bit of my own due diligence. I spoke to some folks over in DeKalb County because DeKalb County has been this way for a number of years. And so their process is that they have a rotation. They have local attorneys that they have a rotation with that will be the contracted hearing officer for a year or whatever, and then it goes. Then they leave and they do and somebody else comes in. Of course, they're working with a larger pool of attorneys that they can pull from, which would be more of a challenge for us. But it's kind of neat how that works. And then they report to the zoning committee. They still have a zoning committee, and they report to the zoning committee, and then the zoning committee makes the recommendation to the full board. Now, are you contemplating that kind of step, Alice, or what? How are you? Because we still have to you have the zoning office, but I still think it's important that elected officials are making the recommendation to the full board. So just comments.
Correct. So with the hearing officer, as it is right now, your zoning board prepares its report and sends it through committee. It's recommended and sent on to the county board. I envision the same thing with the hearing officer. They, instead of doing the zoning committee, that would essentially be our county services committee, and that hearing officer would report directly to that committee, and then that committee would send it through the board process.
And I'm all right with that. Are we all okay with that format? I don't know if we want, attorney from the county. It's the appearance of conflict. I don't know if that's something, but I think we'll let Charlie decide. He's the one that's doing the hiring. We'll let him decide how he wants to proceed with that. And he's going to have Charlie. One of the steps, we got to change our ordinance. Is that correct?
Correct. There has to be an amendment that allows for the hearing officer.
I think Alice told me today that her and Stephanie are going to work on it. So next month they'll be bringing it to committee, and then we'll have to lay it over, of course. So we're looking at February, March timeframe to turn over this direction. Yes.
Alice, wouldn't you still need a transcriber or not?
I would recommend that
Okay, so
we keep
that
that.
expense would still be there. I'm in favor of the
Yes.
program. I just look at it. Okay.
Yes, that provides us our record verbatim. It's a very important tool that we have that.
Even though it's video, do you still need that?
Correct.
What's a transcriber cost for?
It
roughly?
varies per meeting. I would say for a regular zoning, it would be between about $150, $200 a
Yeah.
month
All right.
So
per meeting.
Yep.
Per meeting, yes.
Yeah.
So we've been for more complex cases, like the wind and solar, we've hired the retired judge as the facilitator. Would we be eliminating that, or would that still be, or the hearing officer would handle all cases, or would we still be bringing in a facilitator?
In my opinion, the hearing officer will be handling all cases, and there'd be an attorney who would be hiring, so it'd be very professional.
Okay.
Check all the boxes. Not that that's not happening now. I just meant that's the route we'd go forward.
I agree.
Okay. All right.
But I think either next month, we need to give Charlie permission because it's going to take him a while to vet out a good candidate or maybe multiple candidates. It's totally his choice. So,
Well, Mr. Kitson raised, budgetary issue. I would think there would be some significant cost savings on those cases because that, not that I appreciated the retired judge and the job he did, because I watched him doing, and he was very, very good, very fair, and made sure that folks that had objections did a good job. He was also very expensive. So, we should have some cost savings there.
Normally the petition will pay his fee though, and some of them. So.
Yes,
when it's
yes.
But our biggest concern is make sure everybody's heard. So whoever we hire for this position, we want to make sure everybody's heard at length. So.
Right.
Yes.
Excuse me, as we move forward with this process, is there a plan to touch base with the present people, let them know where we're headed? So it's not a shock and a surprise?
Yeah, I think maybe I need to make a call to Bruce and talk to him. I think he's aware of it. We have talked about it. And I think,
We have discussed it with him. I think letting him know that this is now for sure moving forward would be
Yeah,
appropriate.
okay, I just don't want, after all the years they've put into this, the hard work, I don't want them to just get dropped.
I think Bruce is
I
at
agree.
50 years, correct?
It's
Yeah,
ridiculous. He was a young man when he started.
And really, we do need to probably acknowledge Bruce, Mike, and Mr. Burrow, Craig Burrow, for their time that has been spent on
Absolutely.
this. board.
Absolutely. Well, I think we'll move forward. What pushes this is Mike resigned, so I really don't want to put somebody on there for a month or two. We might as well hurry up this process and go forward.
We do currently have 5 members. We did have an alternate that is willing to fill Mike's seat for the time being. So we will still have a board of 5 members through these next couple of months.
All right. So that's all I got for announcements. Are everybody good with that? We're good to move forward? All right. We go to approval of minutes. Is there any changes or corrections to the minutes? If none, they'll stand as read, I guess, as presented. They'll stand as presented. We'll move on to reports. Claims Committee, Mr. Mike Zeman.
Thank you. We just had the 2 meetings. October 16th, we went through 56 claims, rejected 1, and we fixed the other one. So November, I'm on, right? Yeah. November 6th, 67 claims. We ratified all 67. And that's it.
Continues to work good. Any questions for Mike? Thanks. County Services, Mr. Scrogstad.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We met last Tuesday, and all the department head reports are in the on board for you guys to look at. One of the things that came up, or that we kind of talked about, was the voting, and Nancy's here right now. We had about a 73% voter turnout, which is pretty good. Not as good as the last year or the last presidential election, but one of the things I was amazed by, that we had over 200 people on election day register and voted that day or changed their address. I thought maybe some people were living under a rock, that they waited to the last moment to register to vote on that particular day. But still, I think it was they did really well, and proud of that department. And that's all I have.
Any questions for Jack? Thanks, Jack. I'll move to Mr. Cropine, Public Safety and Court Services.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Public Safety met last Tuesday, the 12th, here in this room. The department heads that were present gave their reports. The sheriff was not available to attend. His report is not real lengthy. It does have some fantastic information in it, and I'd like to comment and compliment them on the use of this flock camera system, as far as pulling those who are a little less lawful than others. They made some significant arrests, some significant recoveries on stolen vehicles. And although it might be a little pricey, I think it's a very good system to have. I'm pro law enforcement anyway, probably always will be, but I think it's a great program. I think it's working very well for them. The only other thing I'd like to comment on, the reports are available from the department heads that were here. I'd ask Jeremy at this time if there's anything significant that you'd like to share as far as the abandoned vehicles. You had some good update information.
In regard to the abandoned
Not-
properties?
But yeah,
Yep. So we did get an order of default on the Lee Center School
Good thing so.
property in the court systems this week. So that's a positive note. So one step in the process of us taking ownership of that property, continuing to work with a potential developer on turning that into an up to 20 unit apartment or condo unit building. So we're really excited about that new phase in the process. I think that's fine to be public. I mean, it is public already. And we have our next hearing to finalize that will be in January. But as of right now, if we wanted to, we could go demolish it. So, it's a big step in what we've been trying to accomplish with that property for the last year plus. Continue to work on some of the other large properties that we discussed in our public safety meeting. We have worked and talked to the city of Dixon, the city of Amboy, and the city of Franklin Grove about using our Strong Communities grant dollars that we're coming up to a deadline here to use within the next 6 to 7 months. So these projects that have been outstanding need to get moving. So I've tried to make sure that they understand the importance of that. A couple of those are getting close to being able to execute. So we're pretty excited about that as well. But things are moving along.
thank you. Thank you, Jeremy. I would like to comment that it's been brought to my attention in the last several days that we've got a increased growth in among abandoned vehicles, as I commented incorrectly. But anyway, Mr. Yater's on top of that and is focusing on it and has been brought to the proper authorities' attention. So I'm not going to mention any names. If I told you the location, you'd know who it was, but that's not necessary. It is aware by Mr. Yater and he's working on it.
He's doing an awesome job too. I mean,
Yes, he
appreciate
is.
everything he's doing.
I had a big conversation, well, not big, but we talked quite a while. Of course, Jared and I used to work together on the sheriff department. He's subject to putting himself in some pretty particular places or particular incidents, and I respect the man for it. So he is doing a good job with that. Other than that, that's all I have unless somebody has questions.
Questions? Thanks, Mike. We'll go to
Thank
the
you, Mr. Chair.
Facilities and Maintenance Committee, Mr. Wilson.
We met last Tuesday. Everything with the facilities is going well. We had a new hire. He started a couple weeks ago, I believe, but he's working out real well. We do have some turnover. We're gonna have another person retiring, I believe, in January. So we've got applications out for that. We're hiring someone else to fill that position. But Eric and his team are doing a great job, and everything's in the onboard. If there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
We're all done with the Allied project over there.
Yeah, the Allied project is done. Jeremy, the courtroom's done. I believe we got 2 more dates for Nomad. And it's coming up, I think, next week, Jeremy. And then December 8th, I believe we have another meeting or another thing to take care of with Nomad, but it's really not our project, but we're kind of spearheading it. And then once those 2 dates are met, all the upgrades to all the courtrooms will be done with the technology, and our courtroom is up and running right now, the one that we remodeled. And I would encourage everyone to go over and take a look at it and spend 2 minutes of your day to go to take a look at the new.
You had to
courtroom.
see it before and then after to really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Cause it was just blocks and nothing in there. I mean, so
But yeah, that's my report.
our associate judge is comfortable over there, is he? Or
Yeah, he's nice and cool. He likes it cold. But yes, we're trying to. keep
that's our main
Mr. Klein.
concern, keep him comfortable.
Yep.
So.
So
Right.
I got to follow up. I want to compliment Tom and his committee and the team that put that together. It was amazing. I always have a hard time visualizing, when I first looked at that space and talking about making that into a courtroom, I thought there was no way. it is phenomenal. I'm sure Judge Klon is very satisfied with the end result. So I know Jackie is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome job. Getting back to Allied though, we did our finally walk through. Did we pay them or are we good?
So Allied's paid.
It will be.
It will
at the
be.
next claims committee.
Yeah.
But the invoice has been sent.
Yeah.
and it's been processed.
So you walk through it and you're comfortable, everything is done to.
Yeah, there's still, again, there's still some things that we're gonna be taking care of. The heating season's coming up. So there's gonna be some things that we're walking through, but one other thing I wanted to say is I wanted to thank Judge Ackert for, I talked to Judge Ackert about the heaters underneath people's desks. And we told him how important it was not to have that stuff, especially when we just put $4.5 million in the new air conditioning system. So she put out an email to say that all the people, you gotta let the system work. And so she's done that. And that's great. And it's gonna help balance the system.
Well, you got a $27 heater gonna burn down a $25 million.
Yeah, right.
building.
And yeah, we just spent $4.5 million in air conditioning.
Yeah.
And so, but I appreciate that she did what she did.
Yeah, I'm glad she did. So do you want to hold back anything, make sure the heating works good?
It's all good. And we're under warranty with them for 2 years. We're down to probably a year in some of the stuff, but all the stuff that's being fixed and all the stuff that's being looked at still has a workmanship of 1 year to functionality. So no, we're all good to go with all that. There's no retainage necessary.
Questions or comments? Thanks, Tom. We'll go to finance, Mr. Sheeline.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Finance Committee met this morning. And monthly report, we're going to end up the year as Paul and I talked about, that we're going to end up almost, what was it, 0.1% off of our projections as in regards to revenues or something like that. It was
No, even less than that.
less than that.
Point
So-
0.0008.
So we were kind of patting each
Within
other
that.
on the back and on the awesome job that we did, in projection, budgeting last year, budget aces. I tell you what, you've got in this county is budget aces. But anyway, it's good when a plan comes together and I'm facetious in saying that, Paul and I, as you guys all know, it takes a team, and we've got a good team of department heads and folks that pull this all together, and good employees, and just appreciate everybody, appreciate Paul and Reed's work on last year, and Reed's completing his first year with the county, and he's just been invaluable as far as doing budget analysis and pulling that together, making Jeremy's life easier and my life easier. And it's been a great experience this last year. We also had the sheriff's officer report, and I'll just comment that I was pretty skeptical on the value of that flat camera. And I'm a believer now. I always have to be proven on buying technology, but I told the sheriff when he was there that really appreciated that. That's really worked out well. The two items that we're moving on to executive is a resolution authorizing appellate prosecutor services that'll need to be placed on the agenda. Any questions on that, Charlie can answer that. That's an annual deal that we do. And then the board action request form budget adjustment. Last year in our budget process, we had reduced the budget of request of extension by $10,000. In February, I had a conversation with Carly about that if we had the funds available, that we would restore that to her full request. And as it turned out, we did have excess funds at the end of the year. And so that's what that is putting that $10,000. And just so you understand, when we cut extension, there's a state match that they get, and it's based on the local contribution. So when we cut their budget, it's a double whammy for them.
And she'll be able to capture that now, or?
I would think she'd be able to recapture that. So.
Hope so.
Yeah. So anyway, that also needs to be put on the full agenda. So other than that, we did get an update. We did give an update in regards to the collective bargaining agreement. with the Teamsters unit. If you care to, we could go into executive session and talk about that. We do have a TA, but we're not have that finalized so that we can divulge the details of that. And other than that, we'll be finalizing approving the budget this next month, and that process went pretty smooth. So anyway, that's my report, Mr. Chairman.
At the Truth and Taxation hearing, Paul or Reed's gonna have something there to walk us through that, or?
Yeah, both of us will probably be there. If you have any questions or if there's any concerns, we'll be able to give you down to the, some of the new dollar values and where it all comes from, what the EAV means to the county, that type of stuff.
All right. Any questions or comments? Thanks, Jim. We'll just move on. Monthly sheriff's report. We talked about that. It's information only. It's in your on board. We'll go to administrator report. Jeremy, do you got anything you want to share with us?
No, not necessarily. I just wanted to thank all of you and staff, the employees, department heads, everybody throughout. It's been, as Bob said, my year was yesterday, and it's been a ride. There's been a lot of challenges, and I've appreciated every minute of it. I've learned a lot, and I'm going to continue to learn a lot. And I just think I'm very blessed to be here, and appreciate working with you guys on a daily basis. It's been fantastic, and I'm looking forward to the future of Lee County. Some great things on the horizon. So
It's been enjoyable. Maybe we'll get a group out beer later after lunch. So.
I'm gonna need it.
All right.
And then I'm gonna need maintenance to come clean up my tears underneath my desk. Okay.
I'm looking forward to that. All right. Yeah. You're good? You want to go right into your unfinished business, this 4th Street Cycling Center?
Yep.
Recycling.
All right. So, there's been this constant topic of what we want to do with the recycling center, specifically in the city of Dixon. Keep in mind that this is one of 6 throughout the county that we provide as services to the constituents in our population centers. The one in the city of Dixon continues to be misused and abused. There is a constant drop off of furniture, electronics, garbage, all of the above. And this has been an issue for a very long time. So, we have internally tried to figure out what we might do with that. Worst case scenario is remove the services, from the city of Dixon. And again, it's not against the city of Dixon. We just can't continue to work with that facility if it's going to be abused as it has been. So talking with the city over the past couple of days, they have offered to be a better partner in that. They will patrol that more often, pick up the large items that are being dropped off and dispose of them as they see them. They also offered to craft with us larger signage that's more clear to try to mitigate any potential misunderstanding of what the recycling center should be used for. And I know this has been brought up in the past, but they did offer to discuss having more active camera sites there that they would patrol and be involved with. So things to consider. Again, it's not something that we want to let go of, because we do believe it's important to have the recycling centers throughout our county. But if we can't control this the way we need to, it's worst case scenario, it would be removed.
I like the sound of that. They need to step up and help us with it. The other cities do. They're not as big or whatever, but
Yeah, do the other cities participate at a different level than what City of Dixon's currently participating at?
Every municipality that we participate with has an intergovernmental agreement with the county that lays out specifically what the relationship looks like. We do not have that currently with the city of Dixon. I did discuss that with the city when I spoke to them about what we have with other municipalities. So this is just kind of first blush, some of the things that they want to help us with the effort now, and we can continue that conversation.
maybe we need to have an intergovernmental agreement.
We definitely can, and that was discussed.
All right, we'll work on that for next month, see what we can come up with. Right?
Any other questions on that? Jim, does that satisfy?
No, I guess I'd sent out pictures. I just happened to be there
Oh.
and dropped some stuff off. And, folks have just got to understand that it's not for garbage. It's for recyclables. And really, I would put the restrictions, I'd get rid of the plastics because plastics just seem like they're a problem. And because it's easy to get all the other junk, because there was egg containers, egg cartons, and the stuff that should be recycled is your metal, your aluminum, your glass, and then the corrugated cardboard. But newspapers and all your regular paper stuff, that shouldn't go in there.
Couches don't get recycled, or where are you going with that?
What's that?
Couches don't get recycled? Is that what you're
Couches don't
talking-
get recycled, there was a countertop that was laying there and I don't think countertops get recycled unless Tom wants one for his, man cave.
Yeah.
I don't think that would fit, but it's just, we have to, if,
They need to police it. Somebody needs to police it.
Yes.
It's not our job to do that.
Yep, exactly.
So, all right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yep.
Turn them on there, will you? Oh, your mic's turned off. It's all right. I just want to make sure I don't miss a word you're saying. All right. We're good with that? We'll move on to new business. Our county board meeting schedules committee, county board meeting, Carter County Board and committee meeting schedule dates. They're all in your on board there. Is there a motion to move the resolution setting the county board meeting dates to the November county board agenda? Mr. Wilson moves, Mr. Kitson seconds it. Any discussion? Look good. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We'll go to the resolution, zoning board of appeals meeting dates. Is there a motion to approve the meeting dates for fiscal year 2025 to the November county board agenda? Mr. Kitson moves. Mr. Wilson seconds that one. Any discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Same with the regional planning commission meeting dates. Is there a motion to move the resolution of the regional planning commission meeting dates for fiscal year 2025 to November county board agenda? Mr. Copine moves, Mr. Wilson seconds it. Any discussion? If none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Now we go down to the resolution of the prayer at public meetings with the invocation policy. Let's get a motion on the board, and maybe have Jeremy talk, see where we've been, where we're going with this. So let's get a motion on the table. Mr. Skogstad moves, Mr. Wilson seconds it. Now up for discussion. Jeremy, you want to walk us through why we're doing this, where we've been and where we're going forward?
Yeah, so we were notified 2 months ago that of a complaint on the county board in regard to our invocations and the lack of invocation policy. This was sent to UCCI, and they corresponded with us and gave us a little bit of insight on what the Supreme Court ruling is on that. So with that, I worked with Board Member Bivens, State's Attorney Boonstra, myself, and our executive team to try to craft a policy that is in compliance with the U.S. Supreme Court ruling on prayer at public meetings, to make sure that we are meeting those standards and affirming the constitutionality of the practices that we have within our meeting structure. So that's what this is. This essentially is, there's a resolution that states our acknowledgement of that and what we are committed to do moving forward. And then this was a policy that we created to create some guidelines and structure on that to make sure that this is publicly notified and that this is set forth moving forward, so we meet those guidelines.
Yeah, I think it just solidifies, but we were doing things the correct way. We weren't in violation, but this just shows how we're going to move forward. Good, or you?
Yeah, I got a little bit of a just a the error on how I section things out, but we'll get that updated.
We'll get it cleaned up.
Everything else, verbiage is fine.
So I got a motion on the table and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We'll go down to abandoned properties, abandoned nuisance property, Lee Center School. We already talked about that. I don't think there's anything new we need to bring with that, but we'll be moving forward as we go monthly and tell you our plan. So we'll go down to appointments. We need to appoint Dave Anderson as the solid waste coordinator. It's on the agenda. There's a raffle report from Moonlight Bay, the Queen of Hearts.
Hey, Bob,
Yes.
what about the new one? The one I just gave you under your hand.
I can't hear what you said. Yeah.
Oh, how about the appointment I just gave you?
You what?
The appointment I just gave you.
Oh, yes. So, we just got this for Franklin Grove Fire Protection. Is that the one you're talking about? It was just handed to us. They just handed it to us today. It's for Jeremy Steinmetz to be reappointed. I think they had somebody resign from their board.
Jeff Roop resigned last night's meeting. So I have his resignation letter, and then Karen Didier brought this up.
So we need a motion to put this on the agenda, or do we need a motion to approve this? What do you, because we're gonna put it on the agenda later or whatever.
Well, I
It's
think,
not on the agenda.
correct. So,
So I
but you
don't know
do
if I
have
can-
the authority to add it to the county board agenda, correct?
Yeah, so we'll just put it on the county board agenda.
And I have that, if you want to pass that around, and then he did fill out the information as far as,
You want us to vote on that now though, or it's not on the agenda, so we can't?
oh, we're just going to put it on the county board.
Okay, we're just gonna put it on the county board agenda.
But I do need a motion for the appointment for,
And we need that back, I guess, but not this one. All right. Are we good with that one? The Moonlight Bay raffle report, any questions or comments? I'm gonna need a motion to put that on file with the county. Mr. Wilson moves. Mr. Scroggs at seconds. Any discussion? If none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. There's a review of per diem report for the county board approval, September meetings for November payout. It's just informational only. I got executive session. I've got maybe 5-10 minute executive session I'd like to go to. Is there a motion to go into executive session? Mr. Kitson moves. Scott said seconds. Motion, I think we got to go a roll call vote for this.
do you want me to read the exemptions?
Yes, maybe I better read that, I guess. I'm sorry. So we're going to executive session for the purpose of ILS 120/2C1 for personnel, also negotiation matters and litigation. I'll just cut to the chase there. So go ahead.
Okay. Bob Olson,
Yes.
Tom Kitson,
Yes.
Jack Scrogstead,
Yes.
Mike Copine,
Yes.
Mike Zeman,
Yes.
Jim Sheeline.
Yes.
Tom Wilson. Thank you.
Let us know when you're ready, Nance. All right, we're gonna do the verification of topics included in November 21st County Board agenda. We're gonna start out, and make this simple and easy. We're gonna do ABC. We're gonna go on down to the approval of board members. Let's go down to zoning and H. Approve all of them before that. We got no petitions to the ZBA. We got no petitions going to the planning commission. We got 2 coming from ZBA. Sanjay, whatever it is, Desai, and Anthony Lynn Winstead. We'll have both of them on there along with that, and no petitions coming from the planning commission. Everybody okay with that? Got the administrator monthly update, public comments. We got Carla coming in from the U extension. I like to break them up so we don't have a bunch at once, but that works. We got our committee reports, unfinished business. Lee County Health Department food ordinance, it's held over from October. The levy, which is held over, and the budget, which is both held over. New business, we got Lee County, Illinois Maples Road Solar road use agreement. Everybody get a look at that. Resolution authorizing appellate prosecutor services for Charlie. Resolution, the mutual aid system response. And the board act.
Are we gonna cut that for the EMA resolution or?
So we were discussing from the public safety, the EMA resolution, an agreement. I know Kevin did not have a response back on that language that you had brought concern about. Is that something that we're okay to put forward?
Yeah, there was another resolution. Was there 2 that he had?
It was the resolution. and
This was the
agreement,
mutual aid
the
agreement.
mutual aid agreement.
All right.
And with that one, I think you leave it as it is on the county board. If there's something that we need to do, once we get to the county board date, at least it's on the agenda. If you're not gonna move forward on it, you're not gonna move forward on it, but at least it's there.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
We're good there. We got the board action request for the, from finance for the U of I extension, $10,000. The resolution about the prayer at public meetings invocation policy we just talked about. Resolution for the county board schedule meeting dates, the ZBA meeting dates, and the regional planning commission meeting dates. Under appointments, we got Dave Anderson for solid waste, but we also have, what was his name? Yeah, Franklin Grove Fire Department. You got that, Nance? We'll get you
So,
there.
and that was Franklin Grove Fire, right? We said?
Yep,
Thank you.
and that's all we have for appointments. Okay, leave executive session on there. We got approval of county officers' reports, quarterly treasury reports. The roll call for the monthly revenue reports, claims paid, vacation, payroll paid. Approval of board member mileage and per diem, adjournment, of course. Do I have a motion to approve this proposed county board agenda? Mr. Wilson, Mr. Scrogstad seconds it. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We didn't forget anything from finance, did we? Nothing new come up today? All right. I'd move to need a thing for adjournment. Mr. Wilson moves. Do I have a second? Mr. Scrogstad. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.